All right, what's going on, everyone? How y'all doing? I'm Jay back again with our coffee Q&A. I know it's been a little bit of time since we've done this, and so we're back again with the live stream. So if you have any questions about coffee or comments, drop them in the comments down below, and or actually over here to the right, to the left, to your right, my left, and yeah, we'll get the answer to those. How y'all doing today? So today, like it says in the description, we're going to be talking about leveling and distributing and leveling of your coffee bed. Now, here's the thing. So, like, a lot of people will use different things. Like, they'll use a tool, like this OCD type of tool. This is a really inexpensive Chinese knockoff. I got this plus the set for like $35 each. So, you know, if you're buying the OCD, you're spending $250 just for the distribution tool. My thing is that I don't think you need it. Like, that's why I bought this $35 one, because it's cheap, and I just wanted to see how well do they work. Is there something that we need to add to the workflow, like at the shop? But really, it's just as efficient to use your hands, right? Because we are making a handmade product, and this is a handcrafted craft. So we're going to talk about using your hands to do all the work except for the temping part, right? So I've got this Reg Barber tamper here. It's really the classic tamper, and Reg Barber, I still think he makes the best tampers made. This is what they call the C plus or C something. So it has these concentric circles that are milled into a stainless steel piston, and then it has a beveled edge, a slight bevel. Like, if you really look close, you probably can't see it. And but anyway, there is a little bit of edge. So the idea there is that it helps. I think the idea back when I first got this, and this is easily. So this is the temper from Spro and Hamden. So this was purchased in 2009. And I can see 2009, I think, was what, $75 to $100 back then. And this one was the house tamper. So it has tamped tens of thousands of espresso shots. And still in great shape. Look at it. Anyway, so the circles are there to give ridges to, I guess the idea was to hold in some water. And then this slight chamfer beveling is supposed to push the coffee slightly outwards, right? To help seal off the edges of the coffee bed in the basket. Now, here's the thing. So the basket itself, right? Let me just make sure it's clean. So the idea is that it's pushing out to the edge, and the water under pressure, or just water in general, will always follow the path of least resistance. So that means that under pressure, if there's any kind of weakness in your distribution and your tamping, it's going to exploit that and then channel, bypassing the rest of the coffee, giving you very big sour tones and a lot of under extraction. And we want to avoid that by doing proper distribution and leveling. And that's what we're going to go into. So basically, you're going to take your basket. This is a V60. This is a VST basket from VST. Very nice quality basket. Let me zoom in a little bit here for you. Oh, there it is. Come on, baby. Focus. Hang on one second. Let me just get this focus rolling here. See if I can get it to focus on the basket rather than. Let's go to manual. There we go. So as you can see here, this got a little bit of bumps and bruises in it. It is quite a number of years old and has been in a commercial setting. So you're going to get a little bit more wear and tear on that because of it. So the idea is that we want to put coffee in here, and then we want to distribute it. And how we're going to do that, we're going to do this by using our finger. I just like to use my pointing finger. I want to point at and we're just going to, what I teach our new baristas is we do a cross pattern. So basically, you want to have your finger be relatively, well, it's perfectly straight. More advanced technique is actually a slight concave and convexness to it, right? But the idea is that we're going to push coffee back and forth, left and right, in order to move it around and make sure that it fills the entire basket evenly. Right now, there are other variations of the technique. There's something called Stockfles from the Netherlands, and where they use the V from your fingers, and what they're doing is basically twisting around like such, right? And I just like to teach this basic method. So we're just doing a cross. So it's basically 1, 2, and we're just kind of sweeping to the center, right? Center, 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 center. And that will give us a little bit of mounding in the middle, which we will then tamp down. And the idea with the mounding is that there's a slight mound. So you're pushing down on it, and it's actually kind of pushing the coffee outward so that you get a good solid, connection, or you get a good solid distribution onto the edge of the basket. A lot of your distribution problems, and channeling problems will come along the edges of the basket where water is rushing around the coffee. So we want to try to avoid that. And this is basically how you do it. All right, let's get back to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our basket. We're going to grind some coffee. We're going to use about 21 grams of coffee for this. Let me zoom back in here so you can see what we're doing. Come back to the manual focusing. All right, there we go, manual focus. So as you can see, we've got a mound. And if you look at it from around, there's a little bit less right here than on this side, right? Every time that you put coffee into your basket, it's going to fall a little bit differently each time. And so each time you kind of have to look at it to see how you're really going to approach it. So as you can kind of see here, it's lower quantity here than it is on this side, right? Than on this side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you to there. I'm actually going to start my sweep this way, push it to help cover that part, come back with it, come back this way, come back this way. Now, I'm losing a little bit. Now, I am losing a little bit, right? So, the more, and I'm trying not to actually lose any of it. So what I'm actually doing is going back and forth. And as you can see, I'm using that little bit of advanced technique, like I said, where you're having this curved finger. You're kind of going over it and just creating that mound and creating that mound. Gosh, it's so hard to hold center. And this is what we end up with, right? This is how we end up with the coffee distributed around. There's a slight mounding there. Now, what the idea is that we're going to tamp, right? But I don't really tamp it right away. What I like to do is I'll take the tamper and I like to place it right on top of the coffee. Now, mind you, a lot of this is happening now on the counter. It's not happening right here in midair. And this is probably a little bit too much coffee. We tend to use 21 grams. So I'm going to set it down here, right? And now what I'm looking for is even height from the top of this ridge here, the top edge of the piston of the tamper, and the top edge of the basket, right? I'm looking to make sure that it's even all the way around. And what I mean by that is I'm dropping it on there, and then I'm just kind of feeling it. I'm using my 2 fingers on opposing sides of the basket, and I'm just kind of going around. And sometimes I'll hold it like this and then go around and then feel it. Sometimes I'll hold it like this. But either way, I'm holding it on opposing sides, right? And I'm also using my fingers to touch both this edge of the tamping piston and the top of the basket. And what that does, it gives me a tactile reference as to which, if it's off, right? So if I put it in here and I feel it, I can, as I go around, I can feel where it's uneven. So if it's uneven, so for example, if it is uneven, let's say like that, you can see that visually from the side. You can also feel that difference, right? As I move around, oh yeah, there's a big difference there, big difference there. And then you can also just use this opportunity to kind of press it down and adjust it with your fingers. And then you're done with that. So you take it off, and then we're going to tamp. Now that I'm going to have to go back to the wider angle. Okay, so now you're going to see, now that we're here, I'm going to take this. I like to tamp with it on the edge. So I'll take, especially on a portafilter that has a spout, I use this little crevasse to lock it in place and give me some leverage, right? Some stability. Now, the nice thing about this is a newer is probably 8-9 years ago, but newer stainless steel La Marzocco portafilter, which means that it has easily removable spouts. So if you want to go spoutless, you can. And it also has this edge, this flattened edge that allows you to have it be flattened. Where you have, if you had the old school ones that didn't have this, there was a bit of rolling and it could be a little bit difficult to work with. But I'm just going to take that. So you come back here, we'll leave it alone, right? I'm feeling it. And then I'm just going to give it a tamp with the pressure. I use about 20 pounds of pressure. And then a quarter twist. Just that little twist there, boom, done. And then we've got, oh, let me go back to this. Then we've got our focus. No, okay. There we go. Now we've got our evenness in the basket, and then just wipe it all clean from the edges so that it just remains clean. It doesn't get it helps to prevent a lot of the stuff getting stuck in the group head. All right, let's pull that shot now. Let's focus in on the machine. There we go. As always, we're going to flush. And since it's a heat exchanger, we want to go a little bit longer until this kind of sizzling slows down. And then we're going to put this in and start pulling our shot. So insert an immediate brew. Ooh. All right, that looks a little bit fast. So here's our espresso. Oops. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. And, all right, let's say here and autofocus. Hang on, guys. Let me just tilt down a little bit so you can see. Oh, let me. Oh, I'm losing control of this thing. All right, so here's our shot. All right, let's go to manual focus this baby. There we go. So pretty good. Like, I like the crema. I like the color. It's even. I would like to see a little bit of like darker flecking, whatever. But this is a nice looking shot. It's got good volume. I would be okay to serve this in a shop environment, and it's a nice looking shot. So we're going to taste it. So back up. All right, let's have a taste. Because no matter how good the shot looks, the important part is tasting the coffee. Because that's really what, in a professional environment, this is really what matters the most. It's what your guest tastes. Does your guest taste something that they're going to enjoy? It's nice, good body, a little bit of brightness, tartness, orange peel. dry cacao. That's very pleasant. A little bit on the astringent side. Like I said, I think it was a little bit fast. I would want to, my instinct tells me that I would change the grind setting just slightly, right? I mean, I have pulled a couple shots before we started the broadcast. All right, but let's go back and look at the, so let's look at our puck. Oh, can we see much with that? Let's go to the, let's go back to manual focus and zooming in. All right, so this is our, okay, so our puck looks pretty dry. It's good compaction, and I'm feeling it here, and yeah, it's good resistance. So that's very nice. Let me, okay, that's not coming out. There we go. So the nice thing, the puck is hot, but it comes out clean. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, it's clean. Oh, it's really hot. Looks like it could be a little bit on the dry side right here, but all right, let's get rid of that. Now let's look at our basket. We're going to go more into this in future videos, but we're looking to see how much and what kind of residue is left inside the basket after the shot is pulled. This will actually tell us a bit about the coffee and things that may be problematic or whatever with it. We'll go into this. We'll go into this a whole nother time. Actually, let me record a little bit of this so I can use it as a screenshot. Nice screenshot right there. All right, so let's clean this up. What we'll do is we're going to rinse out the portafilter just using the group head water. A little bit longer. I like to just let it sit there and drip off. That will keep that will help to keep our portafilter nice and clean, our basket clean. I'm going to go back to it. As you can see, there is some dirt and you're going to see there's some dirt and residue here. Right, there we go, some dirt and residue. We're going to clean, we're going to clean that out. You always want to use a nice, clean-ish cloth, bar towel, and make sure that you get it as clean as you can. Actually, really, it should be perfectly clean, like this, clean and dry. No leftover, what do you call it? No leftover grinds. Those leftover grounds can, impart off flavors and negative flavors to your espresso. So let's do this again. Let's get back into it. We're going to grind some more coffee. Oh, sorry, I'm totally working. Just basically, we're gonna. Oh, goodness. We're going to distribute. I'm actually going really fast with that. I really should show. I'm going to show you this. Let's just dump that. I'm going to show you again. All right, let's go here. We're going to grind coffee. All right, it's a little bit staticky this time, right? So let me zoom in here so you can see, and there we go. Okay, now, as you can see here, it's a bit staticky, right? It's gotten all over the place. It's kind of messy the way that it came out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start to move it around. I think that it's lower here compared to this part over here. So I'm just going to start pushing it this way. And I'm actually going to push it, instead of coming straightly from the left side, I'm not coming from this side anymore. I'm actually going to come kind of from the bottom up, because what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to fill in the area that is low, and then we'll be moving it around and then leaving a little bit of a mound, right? So we leave a little bit of mound, and we're going to put this portafilter on, this tamper on top of it. And I'm just going to let it sit there. And again, I'm just feeling around the edges. Right? Feel around the edges, and you can feel which side is higher, which side is lower. And whenever you find high, you can just kind of push it down until the feeling on your fingertips touching both the top of the piston and the top of the basket on both sides until they feel even, right? And then you just kind of check that all the way around. Does it feel even all the way around? If the answer is yes, then you're good to go. Like here, does that look a little bit high to you? That looks a little bit high to me. Doesn't feel so high. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there we go. See? Yeah, okay, good. That's what we want. Now, we're just going to take that and go back to some tamping. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of coffee grinds over here because there was a bit of static that time. Now I'm just going to press down and tamp it, give a slight twist to polish it off. Now there's going to be more residue. Let's zoom in again. There's some residue here. We're just going to, there's a lot of residue here inside the basket. I just kind of twist it, right? Let that fall out. And then I'll make sure that the rim of the basket, the wings, and the handle are done. Now, sometimes I'll just use my fingers and sweep like this, right? It all depends on what I'm doing at that moment. The key is that you want it to be clean that way and ready to go. And so that's pretty much ready to go. Now, there's a little bit here of some extra jaggedy, like bits of grind. I don't worry too much about that. I just will go straight to the shot pulling. That's really what we need to worry about. All right, let's zoom in again. Let's get this set up so we can see the shot come out. That's pretty good. I'm going to tilt it a little bit more. Oops. All right, so now again, we're going to flush the group head. Now, if you notice, this time we're not hearing that spitting, and that spitting means that we've flushed all of the overheated water that was inside the boiler through the system, and now it's just hot water that's at the right temperature that we've set the machine for. If that doesn't make much sense, I can go into that a little bit more detail, maybe another video about how to work heat exchange machines. All right, I like to hold the cup up close to it just until the flow starts. And I'm usually looking for about 5 seconds for the flow. Oops. It's probably a little bit fast. I think we put a little bit less coffee than normal. Stop. All right, there is our coffee. Tilt that down. All right, so let's tilt down some more. Okay, there we go. Now you might be able to see that right here and right here, there are very faint blonding effects. Now, I'm going to go with that in a whole other different video, but that's super important and very indicative of your espresso and what to do about your espresso. But overall, right now, the espresso, trying to do this is going to be difficult. The espresso has nice reddish brown crema and very even, very consistent. No flecking. There's slight idea that it could be flecking right here in the center. Oh, sorry, it's falling out of focus. I got to hold it in the correct plane. But that's a nice looking shot. I think that's a really nice looking shot. We're going to taste it. Because as always, taste is the final arbiter of the coffee. So compared to this one's a little bit thinner, right? Because there was a little bit less coffee. The brighter notes is definitely more highlighted. That orange peel is really clean and clear. A lot of this also has to do like with stylistically, what are you trying to produce? I think both shots are great shots. Like they're both shots that would be very well received by customers and guests in a commercial environment. But it's all a question about what is your philosophy on coffee? Like what is it that you're trying to produce? So like if I want heavier body and deeper notes, that first shot was better. But if I want brighter tones and higher notes, this shot is better. And in this case, the difference really comes down to a difference in the amount of coffee being used. Right? The grind setting is the same. The coffee is the same. This particular coffee is a medium roasted coffee from Guatemala. It's a wash coffee from the Huehuetenango region, a farm called La Candelaria. Really nice, approachable coffee. I really like it because it is approachable. It's very approachable. It's kind of like a coffee drinker's coffee, meaning that it can, like it's normally a brewed coffee. So as a brewed coffee, it's really nice expressions of cacao and good body, just generally good drinking coffee. And nothing too challenging, nothing too crazy, none of that florality and tea-like characteristics of like something like a geisha, or not the fruit bombs that some of the natural Ethiopians are. This is just approachable coffee for most people. All right, so that's pretty much it for leveling and distribution, or how to tamp, level, and even. If you have questions, drop them in the comments down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thoughts on what we're doing here. If you have any other questions about coffee, drop them as well. If you have ideas for videos that you'd like to see, that things you'd like to understand more about with espresso making or coffee making, let me know. And there it is. So hope this helps, and have a great day. See you next time. My mouse is here.